end, and the Warriors get first possession as Price brings it back out towards the 20 and carries Andrew Emilio with him a long way, as well as Ben Roberts, who was there to make the tackle. Great return off the kickoff by Price.
Move now.
Nathan Feen waits to dummy half for the play the ball from Orangi Korpu. Now Michael Luck meets the defence of Rennie Matua, who is so good on both sides of the ball, gets up and puts pressure on ball carriers in defence, and can also run hard and straight when he takes his turn. Now Price again putting his hand up. They're back at the halfway line with a couple of plays left in this opening set of 6. Feen taking it from dummy half. He'll play it back to Brent Webb, who was there looking for an offload, and he is a real danger down the middle of the park in that situation. The kick from Ravelli, played at by Patton, who will bring it back out and then dives to the ground in a surrender tackle. And of course Mannering there, had he driven him back into the in-goal area, would have been penalised for a tackle, having made contact with him while he was on the ground. Some good contact there, Steve Price. What a start to the game from him. Couple of big runs with the ball, a big shoulder charge there as the Dogs work it away from their own end. Roberts working things from dummy half as they have used up 4 tackles here already, and they're still just 12 metres out from their own line. Asatasi, a short ball for Sonny Bill Williams, who gazed straight through. He had Holdsworth moving up on the inside. He ran away from him though. He didn't get there in time, the 5'8", but here he is now, putting a kick in, downfield over the head of Brent Webb. It sits up and bounces up for Patrick Arvan, who brings it back out from the 20, but an immediate clean line break by SBW.
Yeah, tremendous start by Sonny Bill playing in the forwards as Matuva goes through.
Look at him go, and he gets a ball back on the inside there for Webb, who puts it down, and immediately Andrew Ryan goes on the counter-attack. He beats a tackle there of Michael Luck off the legs of Andrew Emilio, and the Warriors have it back through Korpu.
Well, both teams are looking for an expansive game early, trying to keep the ball movement going.
Let him go, Tony.
And the Bulldogs, one of the things with their forward pack which is so impressive is not only have they got the ability to carry the ball over the advantage line, but all their forwards have got the ability to play before the line, little tip-on passes. Very rarely do they get gang tackled. They have nice support pushing up with them.
Here's Mannering playing it back to Feen as it comes to Michael Luck now. He had Ruben Wiki there off his shoulder, but he took it to the line and picked up some extra metres as well, dragging Grimaldi with him as now Feen gets out of dummy half and goes a long way himself. He's 15 metres out here. One more play for the Warriors as Webb goes back to the short side, and Ravelli puts it in the air. Some pressure on El Masri, who took no chances with it and batted the ball over the dead ball line. A good start here by the Warriors, an up-tempo game they're playing.
Well, this is what you get from confidence through the Warriors. The last 4 months has been excellent football, and they've rattled up some big scores, but this is one man they have to make sure they keep quiet. Sonny Bill Williams can destroy any opposition. Running to the fringes, nice little offload of Asatasi.
He was the Bulldogs' best last week against the Tigers here, as they at one stage led 32 points to 0 before the Tigers scored a couple of late tries. Here's Ruben Wiki. That shuffling style of his, bringing it back to the Bulldogs' 30-metre line. They'll go down the short side, where Louis Anderson will carry it for a gain of about 8 or so metres, and then another 2 or so on the ground after being tackled. Rapati giving it to Price, keeping it alive, going to Ravelli. He puts Luck into a bit of a hole. He passed maybe too early. It came from Korpu, back to Ravelli. Well, Masri had to come in off his wing and make the tackle. They're back inside the 10. Here's Feen going from dummy half. Webb falling over, gives it to Rapati, who runs back towards El Masri, who for the moment has been caught defending in the middle of the ruck. They'll play it there. Here's Feen going from dummy half and went very close to getting there. The referee was right on top of it and said he was a couple of centimetres short perhaps. Here's Ravelli, grubbering off the legs of one of the Bulldogs. Price has come up with it. No, he hasn't, but it won't matter because Grimaldi knocked it on.
Well, they're playing it well early in the game, the Warriors. They're building pressure nicely. Little kick trying to get it in the in goal. Grimaldi plays at the football, knocks it forward. Steve Price, heavy involvement already in the contest. And the Warriors, once again, get a restart. 10 metres out from a scrum.
Lock, we'll get a lock, boys. Yep, it's coming, sorry.
Well, the Bulldogs taking their
Stay
time to
there.
get to this scrum
2
as
hands on the
well.
ball.
Sucking in some breaths. Well, the Warriors coming at them again. Plenty of pressure from the visitors here to begin this game as Tony Martin will play a 10 away from the Dogs line. He's got Arvan at dummy half. He comes back to Louis Anderson again. Here's Arvan down the short side, spinning away from tacklers, going to Fiend. Now Price. Good pass to Wiki, who had a real chance and he'd taken it cleanly. But they recovered there. Matua made the tackle with the help of Grimaldi. Now Fiend to Ravelli. A short ball. Luck couldn't hang on to it. It came off Roy Asatasi and hence will be a knock on. Shane Haynes says we'll bring it back out to the 10. They've done very well to hang on there. You see Sonny Bill Williams, in fact, in there making the tackle, and the ball made contact with the back rower. And the Warriors, having been given plenty of chances close to the line, unable to come up with points in the first 5 or 6 minutes.
Yeah, I think if he had his time over again, Ravelli would have looked to play second man play. When you play against the Bulldogs, they play an up and in defence. Short balls sometimes is not the answer. It's looking as though you're playing short, but play out the back. Encourage the up and in defence to come forward, and then maybe challenge them with numbers on the outside.
Merely playing it as Grimaldi goes to Roy Asatasi, who puts a bit of a step on, but he was taken down by Ruben Wiki and also Nathan Fiend. Here's Grimaldi to Patton. Now Sonny Bill Williams on the right-hand side, fended away from the tackle of Ravelli there before they came in numbers to wrap him up and drag him backwards, but he's on the left, he's on the right. He'll be everywhere at some stage of the game, causing plenty of drama as well for this Warriors defensive line. Arvan running it back at speed and almost getting between them as well. O'Mealy was there to make the tackle with the help of Daniel Holdsworth, but he almost split them. Martin slipping over as he comes across the halfway line to play at 45 metres away. The Bulldogs hanging on in the tackle.
Tackle's well complete, he was hanging on. Doesn't matter, he lets him go.
Willie Tonga was in there, called out of it by Shane Haynes for hanging on for too long. Perhaps Cameron Phelps also there. A man will to have transgressed by the referee, and it will give the Warriors another chance. From close range once again, they'll have a full set of 6 here from 30 metres out. It has been all at this end of the field. The only time the Bulldogs have been across the halfway line is when Sonny Bill Williams made a long break from this end of the field. Fiend running a long way before he gave it to Ravelli. Then Rapati bounced off the shoulder there of Emilio, who came again to wrap him up just outside the 20. Webb running out of dummy half, looking for a forward to link up with. Wiki was there waiting for the next play, and the fullback will play it back to Fiend, and once again going to the second man play with Ravelli. Now it comes back to Rapati, who sizes things up, looks at them, but there's a line of blue and white jumpers in front of him. 2 more plays in this set as Fiend goes to Webb. He had Anderson looming up on his outside. Not much happening on that play there. A lackluster set of 6 here as Fiend goes back to Ravelli. Another bomb, another test for Hazem El Masri. Flying up against Vatu Vai. It came backwards to Simon Mannering, and the Warriors might have the first try of the game.
Yes, it will be, but let's just check the grounding and see if there was a knock-on when he regathered the ball and it was knocked backwards.
Well, he's had his own problems with the attacking kick, Manu Vatuvai, but today the Warriors have kicked for him, and he's been the aggressor and has leapt for the football. To the naked eye, it looked as though it was knocked backwards, and I think that was the case. Into Mannering's hand. As long as he's controlled that football and hasn't juggled it and it hasn't hit the ground, I think this will be a 4-pointer. He's got control and touches the ground. This will be a terrific start.
Video referee today is Steve Nash. He says a try also, and the Warriors will play from in front. They lead 4 points to 0.
As Martin lines up this kick.
From about 10 metres in from the sideline. It's a pretty good strike as well. And Ivan Cleary his attention has been spiked. His team leads 6 points to 0, Greg.
Yeah, look, and they've had trouble winning in Australia, but they've had wins over the Roosters and the Bulldogs, the Warriors, and that's the sort of start you need against this team, isn't it? But they really did have to come up and score a try. That was their 4th set of 6 really in a row, and they were desperate to get points. You'd just think if they couldn't have got points then, how many times do we see it turn around and the first try scored against a team under pressure? Very impressive start by the young halfback Ravelli.
They will say that, mate.
Been controlling things pretty nicely as Steve Price once again will bring it back out from the restart. And here he is again beating tacklers.
Let him go,
And he keeps running at Ben Roberts, and Roberts will be sick of the sight of him by the end of this game because he keeps beating him there with that right foot step.
Well, I know they don't want to do too many kickoffs, the Bulldogs, but that's one area that I wouldn't be kicking to. It just gives Price the opportunity to go and spot defenders straight away. Either go to the middle of the field or kick to your left where there's some stronger defenders.
Yep, good, mate.
And here's Price again, once more running at Roberts, who goes down around the legs. Price gets an offload away. It comes back to Wiki and now Fiend, who's taken there by Andrew Ryan just over the halfway line. Another good set of 6 from a kickoff by the Warriors as Wiki runs it forward. He put the foot down there, but he was handled by Asatasi and also Williams. Ravelli, yet another bomb for El Masri. Vaduvai is there again. He takes it and gives the ball back to Orangi Korpu. They are bombing the Bulldogs this afternoon, and they are scoring tries.
Well, another great leap by Vatuvai. The kick goes up, and El Masri, he's under the ball, but he hasn't got a running leap, whereas Vatuvai has. And the big fella comes down with the ball, and Korpu backs up in support. There you can see him going up for the football, the support play. Look at the number of players around the ball from the Warriors. There's 3 or 4 players. They're up for this game. They've been committed in the early exchanges, and they've been hungry. And there you can see them, all in support of Kupu when he was there to place the ball down.
And Tony Martin here from closer to the post this time can make it 12 points to 0 after 12 minutes of the game. And from the kickoff, we'll see if they go back to Steve Price again. You would fathom it would be a good idea not to, Greg.
Oh, hasn't he been outstanding, Steve Price, on both kickoffs? And he knows where he wants to run. He's pinpointed Ben Roberts and Andrew Emilio, but also taking the ball forward, backing up after Origin. He's just been superb, the Warriors captain. And we highlighted that battle right up front, didn't we? Price Wiki up against O'Mealy and Asatasi. Price is winning the battle on his own at the moment.
It is a real all-international front row encounter here today. And Steve Price, what a game he's had. Here is Anderson. They're only 12 or 13 minutes old now, and the Warriors lead 12 points to 0. Fiend from dummy half, going to Michael Luck. Slips over as he comes to Asatasi at the 30-metre line. They've done well changing the tactics and going to the left-hand corner as the Bulldogs look at it, not the right-hand corner, and taking Price out of play. Fiend to Wiki. Still Price looming up there. Doesn't get a touch in this set of 6 after they changed the angle from the kickoff, and they did much better defensively as a result, the Bulldogs, although here's Patton now getting in a bit of a mix-up there with Cameron Phelps. He'll play it just inside his own 20. Ryan from dummy half. See how they do after so much defence, the Bulldogs, working it away from their own end. Willie Mason is on his feet and ready for an early call-up from Steve Folkes, and given the work they've had to do early, you would figure it won't be too long before the big fella is out there. Here's O'Mealy now. Corey Hughes is out there in jumper 20, working things from dummy half. Already a change by Steve Folkes as Holdsworth kicks from inside the 40. Not a bad one either. He'll force Webb to pick it up inside his own 10-metre line. And the kick chase is a good one from the Bulldogs. A great tackle there around the legs by Corey Hughes.
Yeah, conceding 2 early tries certainly won't affect the mentality of the Bulldogs. They're a tough team, they're a professional team, and they know they've got plenty of point-scoring ability. The fact that they can walk away knowing that 2 tries have come from kicks, that will still give them a great deal of confidence as far as their defence is concerned. But they've just got to turn around, start to get repeat sets of 6 and earn some good field position. I'm sure if they can get good field position, they're capable of scoring points.
Here's Ravelli again, kicking towards El Masri, but not with a bomb this time, and Hazard will be relieved about that as he picks it up at his own goal line and brings it back out to be stopped there by Vaduvai and also Simon Mannering. Two tall players he's up against, of course. He's got Emilio out there with him, but when they can isolate him with those bombs anywhere between his own 20-metre line and the goal line, he's under all sorts of pressure. Here's Patton taking it from dummy half. A good run by the fullback to get them out of a bit of trouble at their own end. Takes it across the 30-metre line as El Masri feeds it to Rennie Matua, who will play it here just short of the 40-metre line. El Masri double pumping it as Patton fires a flat ball to Corey Hughes, who thought about a little offload out the back. Holdsworth will wait at dummy half with this the last play for the Dogs in this particular set. Roberts with that left foot of his, kicking it down the short side. Not a bad one either. Webb doing well to get to it before it bounced into the in-goal area. He brings it back at speed to be stopped by Roberts just inside his own 20. A couple of sets of 6 where the Bulldogs have just steadied things after back-to-back tries in the exact same situation, with Vaduvai out-leaping Hazem El Masri. There's Arvan playing it as it goes to Michael Luck. They work it back over to that left-hand side of the field to see if they can get Price involved, and here he is taking it forward, running at Roberts, losing the ball this time, backwards, said the referee. So the hit-up doesn't go to plan, but it still works out for the Warriors as Fiend plays it quickly. Ravelli goes to Simon Mannering, who stutters on his run before he straightens and tries to beat both Matua and also Sonny Bill Williams. No dummy half there. Fiend then basketballs it to Ravelli on the last play. The cut-out ball went to Vaduvai, who comes to them and gets across the line. They're in again. Sound the air raid sirens. They're killing him on the left-hand side of the field.
Well, I said the Bulldogs mightn't have been worried at 12-0 down. Well, I think at 16-0 down, you're right. Sound those sirens. Here come the Warriors. And in this mood, the Warriors could rattle up a score. There's no urgency shown there by the Bulldogs. There was a play the ball with no dummy half. They should have dived on the ball. Instead, they let Fiend get there, toss it over the back, play down a short side, and Vaduvai, that far out, was always going to be able to score the try. Terrific hands by the big fella. Pushes away from Patton, and this is the 3rd try of the afternoon.
Here's Martin from wide out, hitting the left hand upright. Well, the Bulldogs get a break through a missed conversion from wide out, but Manu Vaduvai has been involved in everything, Greg.
Oh, he hasn't. 75% of possession hasn't hurt their cause, the Warriors. But Manu Vaduvai, he's always been a little bit suspect with his hands and the ball on the ground, but he hasn't been tested in that area yet. But he's been good with the ball in the air, hasn't he? Off the kicks or even that pass, and great hands to pull that pass in from Ravelli.
Seemed to be headed across the sideline, the pass from the halfback, but he took it and it stuck.
Let him go, Willie!
And he was always going to be too big for Luke Patton on top of the line. Here's Fiend now to Wiki, who works it up towards the 40-metre line.
Let him go!
16 points to nil in the last 10 minutes. What a run for the Warriors as Luck works it back midfield. They might think about a kick once again to that left-hand side to put El Masri, but they'll bump it forward through Price, who runs at Matua, who does a better job than Roberts has been doing. Roberts could have been penalised there for rolling him onto his back after the event. And now they come forward through Rapati, who gets a running kick away over the head of Cameron Phelps. A good kick. He'll have to go back into the in-goal area to pick it up when he looks up to see black jumpers everywhere. They've got them working it away from inside their own 10 once again.
Yeah, it was good work there by Rapati. There was no panic. The Bulldogs, they made a beeline for him to put some pressure on him. This will help the Dogs.
You've come through the ruck, mate. You've gone through and you made him lose the ball and you slowed to play the ball up, mate.
Piggyback penalty. I was just about to say, with the Warriors, they've got variety with the kicking game. Fiend can kick out a dummy half. Webb can come up and play an option kicker. Ravelli's a nice kicker of the football. And by that kick there, Rapati looks as though he's got a nice touch.
It's just about the first mistake the Warriors have made in the game as Mason is out there. We'll see what he can do to get the Dogs heading in the right direction, to see if he can get them at least down into Warriors territory with some tackles up their sleeve as Holdsworth gives it to Nate Miles, who's also out there now, staying alive. Got to stand in the tackle there. So Evan Tuamavave, who is out there fighting with him in the tackle. Now it's Andrew Ryan who works it down. 35 metres away from the Warriors line. 20 minutes gone. It has been all the Warriors so far. Here's Louis Anderson coming over the top to make a tackle with the help of Rapati on Willie Tonga. He plays it back to Hughes, who goes to Holdsworth, looking for a runner on his right-hand side. Roberts was there playing outside him and put a step on, a Benji Marshall-style step, and it almost worked as well. A try was saved by Price and also Webb. Here's Hughes to Holdsworth. Good ball from Tonga away to Phelps. And the Bulldogs have responded. Their first real attacking chance inside the Warriors 20, and they hit back to make it 16-4.
Well, that should give them plenty of confidence, the Bulldogs. You touched on it, their first real opportunity inside the Warriors 20-metre zone, and they come up with some points. The lead up to the set wasn't that brilliant, but Ben Roberts, through some footwork and his own intuition to go to the line, created a break, and then from there they just worked the numbers. It was a poor read by Arvan on the wing. He comes in to make a tackle. He probably needed to stay out and mark up on Phelps.
The strike isn't a bad one. It stays inside the left-hand uprights. Tuamavave was up on his face with the help of Fiend to drive him backwards. Now Hughes comes back to Mason. A flat pass, a terrific ball for Andrew Ryan to get the Bulldogs second.
We're just checking the grounding, mate.
By Willie Mason, who looked like the tallest halfback in the world.
Well, he's played good. He's been terrific since he's come onto the field, Willie Mason. He's had some damaging carries and also the ability to use the football. Webb does his best to try and hold Andrew Ryan up. The ball comes down. Don't think it touches the ground there. Yes, it does. Touches the ground there and there. That'll be a try. But what we spoke about earlier in the game, the ability of the Dogs forwards to use tip-on plays to one of their partners in the forwards. And on this occasion, it was the front row onto the back row. Andrew Ryan hits a hole nicely. Webb does his best, but you can see their contact. Ball on ground. I am certain this will be a try. Nashi will come up with it.
Here it is. He doesn't let you down, Logs. Green lights for Andrew Ryan and the Bulldogs, and they're back within 6 points here.
Well, it's just on the back of some terrific field position and possession for the Dogs.
Here is El Masri. From 20 metres out, he slots it. We've got a 4-point game here.
Quick call by the referee, in a good position.
He was right there on top of it. Here's Corpu playing it at the 20-metre line. Now to Mavave. Good hands as it comes wider still to Anderson. 3-on-1. Martin is away. Patton coming across. He's got Arvan with him. He dummied and went back on the inside. And the Bulldogs' chase has got to him. Good tackle made by Phelps. Now Ravelli finding Fiend 2 away from the play of the ball. A ball back on the inside. Rapati is stopped there, but the Bulldogs were up inside the 10.
Willie.
Mason is the player who was called out. He's disbelieving, Willie. He can't believe the referee's whistle is blown. He thought he was waiting at marker for the play to continue on. And instead, the Warriors will have a chance to make it a 6-point game.
Well, if you can't believe it, he's done a good bluff job, Willie Mason. You can see clearly there in the picture. He got back 5.
What an action-packed first half we've had. 6 minutes out from the break. And the Warriors lead by 6. Martin gets the penalty goal to make it 18 points to 12. Here's that shift to the right-hand side. They caught them out early in the set of 6.
Yeah, good work. Just keeping the ball alive. They really exposed the up and in of the Bulldogs' defence. They dragged them in and then they found the numbers out wide.
And Roberts again doing plenty of work from dummy half. Flipping rolls with Hughes on occasion as Holdsworth comes away. We stopped there by Anderson and also Goodenbeal. Patton. Again, another run from dummy half where he's dragged down by Goodenbeal. On the last play now was Hughes. We'll kick it away from dummy half and just watch it go down into the in-goal area. Webb again. Will have to play at it and bring it back out. He'll make it back out comfortably this time and step his way into open spaces. He came to Roberts, who dragged him down, and a good thing as well because he might have gone a long way, Brent Webb. What a kick return.
Well, he's sensational, Brent Webb.
Let him up.
And here's a big
You're on
penalty.
top, you want to spin around on top, get the marker.
Roberts, trying to be dominant in the tackle, gives away a penalty which will give the Warriors a chance as the clock ticks down the final seconds of the first half. They probably weren't expecting from close range here. They'll have a few plays from the halfway line as Guttenbeil works it into Bulldogs territory.
Andrew, movement.
20 seconds left in this first half as Ohio goes from dummy half. A ball to Ravelli. Now Rapati cutting to this right-hand side. Anderson trying to find a hole between Ryan and also Holdsworth. 35 out, perhaps one last bomb for Vadovine. That's exactly what they put up. Ravelli goes high in the air. Here they are again. This time the big fella couldn't come down with it. Hughes knocks it out of play, and the Bulldogs breathe a huge sigh of relief. It's the Warriors who lead 18 points to 12. Day from Telstra Stadium. Warren Smith, Laurie Daly and Greg Alexander here to bring you the commentary as Sonny Bill Williams brings it up to the 30. A ball and knock on from Roberts as well. It lands in the hands of Michael Luck. In fact, Simon Mannering, who will play at 25 metres out from the Dogs line. Falmawina going to his right-hand side.
Andrew Ryan.
Great chance here for the Warriors to extend this scoreline in the opening minutes of the second period. Here's Webb going to the line, running at Mason.
Surrender.
He surrendered in the tackle eventually after there was a chance Mason might have taken him ball and all across the sideline. Here is Rapati. Now Guttenbeil cutting back on the angle towards the post. 15 metres out with 2 plays still left in this set of 6. Ohio going from dummy half, showing dummy, still going. Rapati has a chance. He was grabbed from behind by Corey Hughes. Last play now. Here's Ohio. Ravelli grubbering in behind El Masri, who waited and waited. And that man, Vaduvai, who's been haunting him here today, was reaching out looking for another try.
Well, it's not the start that the Bulldogs were looking for, but exactly what was required by the Warriors. A mistake in the first set of 6. Take it to the 5th tackle, and then a kick into the line, into the in goal. Vaduvai was coming across. El Masri looked as though he was going to let it go, and then played it at the last minute. Set of 6, big set of 6 coming up for both teams.
Here is Guttenbeil bringing it back towards the Bulldogs' 30-metre line.
Tackle 1.
His kicking game, his attacking kicking game in particular, has been very good today. Now Webb getting involved again on that right-hand side for Louis Anderson.
Here it is, hold.
Big work rate from him today. Now Ravelli at first receiver. Goes past one to give it to Falmawina. And to reach out and reel in a pass under pressure there from Williams and also Matua. Now Ohio as they cut back to the right-hand side. Another kick by Ravelli. Martin is there. He might have a chance.
Mate, we'll just check.
We'll see what the video ref makes of this one.
Back to it. I've seen the second knock
because
on,
it wasn't conclusive
on.
that Martin knocked it on at the first attempt.
Correct.
Well, if he plays at it and comes off the chest, Warren, it doesn't touch the arms. Now, what is that?
Well, as we saw last Wednesday night, that's play on. Let's get to that point eventually after we check the onside. That's okay. They timed the run nicely. There it is, bouncing up towards Martin. Well, it certainly gets him around the midsection. Did he get his left hand to it as it bounced up? Let's have a look here. Well, maybe it's missed everybody and got Holdsworth on that first contact. Martin reaches out, can't lose it. You can say that Daniel Holdsworth forced the ball there before it spat out from underneath him.
But I think a scrum, no try scrum. A knock on, well, they've deemed that Martin's knocked the ball forward. I didn't think he got a hand to it.
No, either did I. But there you go. Tony Martin was standing there looking at the big screen, and I'm sure he was expecting anything but that particular call. Well, maybe the right hand, the base of the right hand perhaps might have got a touch on the ball, and that's what the video referee has seen. I'm happy to go with it. So are the Bulldogs. No doubt about that as Tonga plays it. Here is Nate Miles working it up towards the 20-metre line. Play it back to Hughes. Slowly back to his feet was Nate Miles. We'll see if the Bulldogs can get through this set of 6 after coughing it up. Well, they will get through it because they get an early penalty.
Went too early, mate. Just saying.
And it was Owen Guttenbeil who was up before the gun cracks, said the referee, inside the 10 metres. Andrew Ryan going to the left-hand side, changed his line as a result of Guttenbeil being up in his face, and as a result here are the Bulldogs bringing it forward through Mason. The Warriors put some pressure on the Dogs line to begin the second half. Now it's the Bulldogs' turn to have a crack at the Warriors inside the 20. Hughes goes to Holdsworth. Roberts now. A deep ball for Williams, who beat Vaduvai, who come racing up out of the line. And Andrew Emilio. Now a whistle
Tackle
here.
2. We need to get rid of that ball, boys.
From the referee, who's on the ball, isn't he? Because there is a second ball on the field.
Another step, boys. Tackle 2.
The Bulldogs won't be too happy about that midway through this set of 6. Things coming to a halt. Now Roberts giving it to Miles. He'll take it down to almost the 10-metre line of the Warriors. Hughes waits and he bypasses one. Roberts ran a decoy for him. Here's Holdsworth. Now Ryan to Tonga on the outside. There's a chance. He'll get there himself, Willie, with a roll and a put down in the corner to maybe get the Bulldogs back level. The Warriors crack inside their own 20 for the first time in this second half. How many more will there be?
Willie Tonga. First one of the day. They play wide, and Holdsworth onto Ryan, and then Ryan looking for the short runner in Tonga. He knows he's got to be courageous and go into the hole, and the Warriors players are jamming in. They make contact, but they fall off. And when you come off your line like that, you've got to hit and you've got to stick around the football.
The strike starts at the upright. It bends back. It's got the legs as well.
He's just going to be an important player for this Bulldogs outfit. I've got no doubt that they've got the roster to win the competition, but they need Sherwin at his best to do it.
Here's Price as the Warriors come to the left-hand side. It was promising for a moment before Andrew Emilio came in to make the tackle on the former Bulldogs captain. The clearing kick goes down to Cameron Phelps, who takes it on the fall at the 20-metre line and brings it back out to be stopped by Feen initially before Ruben Wiki drove in. Now Patton gets a bit of a roll on from dummy half, catching the markers out. Guttenbeil desperate to slow things down here. Does a pretty good job of doing that. And then Phelps feeds it from O'Mealy to Roy Asatasi. A poor piece of play by the Bulldogs. And now they're working away the Warriors to Vaduvai down this left-hand side. Here's Mannering from dummy half. Going to foul Moina. He puts the foot down and runs back at Brad Moran.
Here's 10, boys. Here it is.
He'll play it 28 away. Feen again going to Price, working it down this left-hand edge, running it Emilio. He stops him with the help there of Moran and also Matua. They go back through Ravelli. Fires a nice ball to Rapati. Second man play for Webb. Now it comes back to Rapati. He runs in behind Wiki. He's tries to split a gap there between Tonga and also Ryan, and almost did so. Now Corpu on play number 4. Goes to Guttenbeil for Wiki. Dragged down in a tackle by Tonga around the legs. He was almost there. Here's Ravelli. They came up quickly. Matua got up in his face, so did Grimaldi. They stop him just 5 metres away. This is the last this time for the Warriors. Feen rubbering off the legs of the Bulldogs. Moran picked it up. He did very well to stop the ball from getting through into the in-goal area, and then gained them possession by picking it up and bringing it back out to the 20.
Yeah, good work by the front row, Moran. They defended their line very well there, the Bulldogs. I've got to say, though, the Warriors, they didn't threaten as well as I thought they would have. And here comes Emilio.
Beating tackles, bringing it back to the halfway line. 17 minutes, says the clock. And now Asatasi bouncing off the shoulder there of Mannering. Price hanging on to him. Here's Grimaldi. Giving it to Mark O'Mealy, who's met there by Guttenbeil and also Simon Mannering again. Roberts on the last will put it high in the air. Some pressure here on Patrick Arvan and also Brent Webb. Arvan, though, flying beautifully. Took it comfortably and then brings it back out in a long return to be cut down by Luke Patton.
Here it is, Andrew.
We saw him go a long way last week to set up a try against the Panthers for Tony Martin from a similar play at his own end off a grubber kick by Luke Prittis. He threatened to do something similar right there. Here's Goodenbeal.
Let him go!
He'll play it 35 metres away. Fiend waiting at dummy half. He goes to Ravelli. No one really putting their hand up for a carry on the left-hand side of the halfback. So he came back to where the ball was played from. And Martin now stopped there by Tonga just inside the 30. We'll go back to Ravelli again. Here's Rapati. Price on his outside. A poor pass. Picked up by Webb, who tries to get away from Roberts, who sticks with him. He'll play at midfield. 28 away on the last play once again. A real stalemate in this game after the Bulldogs scored early in the second half. Badavai batting it backwards. Mannering does the same thing, straight to Ben Roberts.
Well, it was a good start to the set of 6 for the Warriors. They were on the counter-attack straight away. Arvan, tremendous run. Then another poor kick on the end of their set, which they really struggle with both teams this afternoon. The first team that can build a bit of pressure will go on and win this. Options at the end of the sets have been poor. They're playing some terrific football in the lead-up. It's been great to watch.
Hold! Go.
We've had 20 minutes with no change to the scoreline at 18 all after Tonga scored. El Masri converted to get us level, and Mason has had some running repairs to that right thigh. He'll be back out there in a moment as Holdsworth puts a kick in, this time in behind Arvan. He'll pick it up at his own line and he brings it back out. Webber's there with him, but he'll be stopped there at the 10-metre line as we go downstairs to Greg.
Just having a look, Warren, at what's left for this side. Now 18 all with just under 15 minutes to go. As you said, Willie Mason had that right leg re-strapped. He's ready to come back on. Sonny Bill Williams sitting on the sideline. He's ready to come back on. Also, Nate Miles. They've got 5 changes left. The Warriors only got 3 changes left. You'd think that they'd finish with the side that's out there. All their big guns out there.
Here's Goodenbeal getting a ball away. Feed into a hole. Here comes the Patton, who makes the tackle on him with the help of El Masri. He'll play it quickly, just outside the 40. They've got the Bulldogs struggling. Here's Ravelli running behind Moran, coming to one defender, giving it back to Michael Luck.
Roy!
He straightens things. Last play here for the Warriors. Can they get a result from this set? Ravelli kicking for the in goal. El Masri is there, waiting for it. He has to play at it. He beats one, but he put his foot on the dead ball line. The Bulldogs won't like it, because both the touch judge and referee were right there, and there is his right foot on the chalk.
Good decision by the referee. I think he's had a good game today, Shane Hay. They're fighting for their season. When they walk off this afternoon, there'll be nothing left in their tank. And it comes down to desire. What means more? A team playing for their season or a team playing for a top 4 spot? We're about to find out.
Here's Michael Luck playing it back to Nathan Fiend. Corpu, one of the try scorers in that first half point spree for the Warriors. He got the second of them. Here's Goodenbeal showing it, coming back to Webb in amongst the big men. The little speedy fullback was looking for an opening. He came back to Tony Martin, who was stopped there by Holdsworth and also Phelps. Webb will give it to Ravelli. They're spread to the right-hand side. Again, Price wide on this left-hand side. Foul Molina bouncing off the shoulder there of Emilio. He stayed alive to give it to Rapati. It was wrapped up by Grimaldi. He'll play it back to Fiend. They've used up 4 tackles. Here's Ravelli going to foul Molina. Hard to stop. He dumps it out the back. Good hands by Ravelli to pick it up and go. Here's the last now. Fiend only just got there in time. Webb puts up the crossfield bomb. It went backwards, in fact. Taken by Patrick Arvan. Off the legs there of Cameron Phelps. And it was played at...
Yes, mate. You definitely blocked the ball, mate.
And Cameron Phelps won't like it. Willie Mason is blowing up, but Shane Hayne and the touch judge both said the ball was played at by Phelps. The Warriors will get 6 more tackles.
Well, he's made every decision, and another good decision, Shane Hayne. They're not happy, the Bulldogs, but that's a correct decision under pressure. And again, another good decision. Repeat set of 6. Warriors, they have to do something now with the football. The Dogs are starting to become tired, showing signs of fatigue. They've got to execute well, the Warriors.
Can the weight of pressure tell here for the visitors? Mannering going for the corner and almost got there. He'll play it back to Vaduvai. Goes to Webb, who draws a couple, gives it to Rapati, showing it, beating two defenders. Holdsworth hanging with him before Amelia comes in to finish him off. They're 5 metres out with their third set in a row at the line. Faumuina now. He tries his luck. Stopped by Ryan. Now Fiend. Goes a couple of metres before he gives it to Rapati. He'll come back to the right-hand side, showing it. He loses it. The Dogs have hung on. 3 sets in a row on their own line. There was just desperation right across their defensive line, and they've kept themselves perhaps in the game.
Great defence by the Bulldogs. On their line, defending grimly. And the Warriors, they went from sideline to sideline, and the Dogs, they kept showing up.
No ball yet, boys. Just wait there.
There were times in that set of 6 where they had to make one-on-one tackles, and they did it. They wrapped the ball up, they stopped the offloads, and they continued to work hard for their teammate.
All the way to me. Let him go.
That's what premierships are built on, that type of defence.
Here's O'Mealy now,
Let him go.
putting his head down, taken by Steve Price. Now Grimaldi running a few minutes before Price makes another tackle. What a game from the captain here today. His opening was terrific to give the Warriors some confidence and get them going from very much the opening kickoff. Here's Mason, driven backwards eventually in a dominant tackle by Goodenbeal and also Nathan Fiend. Holdsworth will give it to Nate Miles, who crabs sideways before he's stopped by Price and also Michael Luck. Inside the final 10 minutes. Last play here for the Dogs. Holdsworth from inside his own 40. Floating one down the middle of the park, taken by Brent Webb, who will bring it back out towards the 30-metre line of the Warriors. And the Bulldogs haven't been down this end of the field for some time now. They opened up with a very quick try, scored by Willie Tonga. It's been the Warriors for most of the time since then who've had a few chances, yet to come away with anything to add to their second half, their half-time scoreline.
Well, it's been an amazing game of football. In the first 40 minutes, we expected a high-scoring contest. We expected there to be plenty of tries scored in the second half, but that hasn't been the case. Now, neither team has looked as though they've gone about to set up for the 1 point, but with 8.5 minutes, I think the first team that looks like doing it, I was going to say the Warriors, maybe they were looking to set up, but no, they're on the verge. They think they can score points. They can sniff points, but they've got to make sure that they defend well against the Bulldogs in broken play.
There is El Masri under no pressure to take the bomb. It worked for Ravelli and the Warriors in the first half. There was no pressure at all that time. Here's Sonny Bill Williams coming at the meat of the forward pack. Getting a ball away. What a pass and what a catch by Ryan. Still going. He comes wider to Tonga. He's wrapped up just outside the 20. He'll play it back to Patton. Here's Sonny Bill again. Taking it to the line, getting another ball away to Miles. Coming into his own suddenly. Grimaldi to Sonny Bill Williams again. He got them going. Here's Grimaldi going back to Asitasi. The Warriors move up on the right-hand side. Tonga gives it back to Phelps. He comes deeper still to Luke Patton. They've still got to tackle after this one. Patton knew that. He'll play it here on the last 10 metres out. It comes back for Holdsworth for the field goal. Price got there to charge it down. That's inspirational.
That's great work by the skipper. He knew it was coming. He just charged out of the line. And what an effort by the captain. He gets the ball back. We usually associate Price with the charge downs in general play. Not stopping field goals, not stopping points. And how important and how vital is that going to be in the next 7 minutes?
Here's Rapati under pressure here from Sonny Bill Williams. We know he can strip the ball out. It was a one-on-one tackle. He tried to, but he hung on to it, Rapati. Now Ravelli says, let's get out of here. He kicks it down towards the Bulldogs in goal area. It may not go dead, and the chase was a poor one from the Warriors, who were tiring on this left-hand side. El Masri picked it up, canted out of his own in goal, and then gave it to Patton, who brings it back to the 20. Who's got what left in the legs in the final 6 minutes of this game? The Bulldogs a chance through the Holdsworth attempted field goal, denied by Stephen Price. What a play it was. Phelps getting back to his feet eventually there before it's Asatasi, who takes it back towards the halfway line. They might get a chance in this set of 6, the Bulldogs. They'll be happy just dumping it into the in-goal area and making the Warriors work it away from their own end, perhaps try and force a mistake as they do so. Here's Grimaldi from dummy half. He'll give it back to Holdsworth. He'll try a long-range one. 45 metres out. It had the distance, but it was away to the right-hand side. A good strike by the 5'8".
What about the reaction of Steve Price once again? Even though Holdsworth had a shot at it, Price, he knew it was coming. He was in at marker, but he just flies out there once again. And Holdsworth, in the corner of his eye, can see him coming. So he rushes it just a little bit. I'm sure if there wasn't pressure from Steve Price, he wouldn't have rushed it. 2 big plays in a couple of minutes by the Warriors skipper.
Just under 5.5 minutes remaining.
Let him go! He's 10! Nate!
There's Anderson playing as it comes back to the middle of the park. They'll work it there through to Mavave. Now Fiend going quickly from dummy half. He gives it back to Ravelli, who slips over. Now monstered by Sonny Bill Williams. He just deposits him on the ground. They'll play it back to Fiend. Here is Price. What has he got left? It's amazing he can still get his legs going, given he's been up there chasing those field goal attempts. Anderson on the 4th will play it, still inside their own 40. Wiki looking for a quick carry and a fast play the ball as a result. He'll get back to his feet here and give them a chance to kick from dummy half. Fiend does that. Patton working back to his own line. They did well, the Warriors. Now they've got to get up there and chase. Patton is there, bringing it back, stopped by Rapati and also Fiend.
And this is where the Bulldogs, they can't afford to become nervous and can't afford to go one out. They can't afford to make mistakes. They can't afford to turn the ball over in good field position for the Warriors.
Let him go, Ruben.
Nate Miles will carry it just outside the 30. Here's Holdsworth from dummy half, giving it to Sonny Bill Williams.
He's 10 to me.
Over the top too. Mavave was looking for a shot. He was offside. Grimaldi pointed him out. Then he gave it off to Rennie Matua, who spins in the tackle. He's stopped there by Mannering. Last play now. Here's Holdsworth again. No field goal attempt from a long-range effort this time. It will bounce down to Patrick Arvan, who slips over, bringing it out towards the 20, and he'll play it there. The pressure back on the Warriors once again, not to make a mistake, as Webb feeds it from dummy half. He goes wide to Corpu, who's chopped down on a lovely tackle by Tonga. Now Webb feeds it to Martin, who steps away from Holdsworth, attempt to tackle first up before he was able to stay with him. Now Webb gives it to Rapati, the small men doing it from their own end for the Warriors. Inside the 40. Would they think about a 40-20, or will they just be happy to work it to the left-hand side here? As they do so, Anderson fires a good ball to Vadubai, who tries his luck down the sideline. It's a cheap turnover in good position for the Bulldogs. They tried their luck perhaps once too often on this occasion, and Sonny Bill Williams brings it back on the second play. He'll play it back to Roberts, who goes from dummy half. 45 metres out. 3 tackles left in this set. Grimaldi will give it to Mason. Surely they'll take it for one more. In fact, an offload comes back to Grimaldi, then Asatasi to Andrew Ryan. A chance perhaps to get Holdsworth back in range here. Here's Miles, a ball away to Matua. Ravelli makes the tackle. Where's Price this time? He's looking, waiting. It comes deep, back to Holdsworth. They'll go wider still to Patton. Through the hands they go. Here's Tonga putting a step on. They've done well, the Warriors in defence. That'll be the changeover. 2 minutes left.
Good work by Warriors. Desperation was there. I kept my eye on Steve Price and I watched what he was doing. He tried not to get involved in the play, and then he was. And then he got out of the tackle as quickly as possible, got back next to the referee, so the referee knew he was onside. And then he encouraged his teammates to come out of the line quick with him.
Are we headed for yet another golden point in 2006? The Warriors have been there a few times with mixed results. The Bulldogs played a 21-all draw against the Rabbitohs across the road at the showground just last year. Here's Ravelli kicking it deep. This at a 6 might be the Bulldogs' last in regulation time. What have they got? El Masri stays alive, gives it to Patton, who runs away from Mannering. Also got away from Vaduvai. Mannering did well to stay with him. Otherwise, the general might have gone the distance. Here's Matua. He'll play it at the 30-metre line of the Bulldogs. Tackled by Price. Roberts jumping out of dummy half. 3 tackles gone inside the final 60 seconds. Grimaldi goes to Mason. Here's Sonny Bill Williams. Stopped in a good tackle by Ruben Wiki. Now Grimaldi from dummy half. A long run. He gives it to Nate Miles into a bit of open space. He weaved his way through the traffic. Last play here. Here it comes again for Holdsworth. Under pressure once more. This one is away to the right-hand side, but not by much. They've had some chances. Most of them from long range through that man, Daniel Holdsworth. His best chance was blocked by Steve Price. And guess what, Laurie? Get your Bundy card out because we're going into overtime today.
And going to look forward to it. The Warriors look to be out on their feet, but they've found something a little bit extra, and the game's ebbed and flowed. It's been a terrific contest by 2 good football teams. There's the siren, and we will now head into Golden Point.
Each team will get 2 extra replacements in the Golden Point period. The Warriors will certainly welcome that. Here's Tuamavava with the kickoff. He'll float it down towards Ben Roberts, who'll hand it off to Asatasi. The pressure here on the Bulldogs to bring it out of their own end without mistake, and a good tackle on Asatasi. Drives him back almost to the in-goal area. Here's Holdsworth playing it for Grimaldi. Conservative stuff from dummy half. Grimaldi thought Rapati was offside. It seemed to be the case because he didn't make an attempt first up. Grimaldi appeared for a penalty, but there was none coming. Here's Mason, stopped by Wiki. Here's Roberts. Going to Sonny Bill Williams. 40 out from the Bulldogs line on the last here now. Here's Roberts kicking from the middle of the field, off the side of his boot a little bit. It'll go down to Patrick Arvan. He put a step on coming back out, but he was stopped by Tonga and also Ryan. We've used up 1 minute of the 10 available in this period. Here's Martin now, just inside the 40. Will they try a long-range attempt, as the Bulldogs did on several occasions through Holdsworth? 3 tackles gone here. They haven't picked up too many metres, and that slow play the ball will help the Bulldogs. Here's Tuamavave getting the Warriors going. Good run by the front rower. They're 42 away. Fiend from dummy half to Wiki, who tips it on to Stephen Price. Good fend on Roberts. He's caused him nightmares all game. Here's Mannering over the sideline. The ball's still in play. Price gives it to El Masri, and it's play on, say the officials. Well, Mannering was close to the line, so was the ball, but neither of them touched the line, at least while they were in connection with each other. And now it's Asatasi who plays it back to Grimaldi. Mason bumping it forward up to the halfway line. 3 tackles gone in this set. Here's Grimaldi to Holdsworth. Miles off the left foot looking for an offload. They'll be back within range on this next play. They take it to the left-hand side. They Holdsworth into a hole. He gives it back to Sonny Bill Williams. Webb comes up to make the tackle. Martin was there also. Who takes the shot now? It'll come back to Holdsworth, who gives it to Roberts. They came up quickly. Ravelli left a hole. Roberts for the line. A ball out the back. And Diogo wins the game for the Bulldogs. them. The Dogs win 22-18.